Okay, so here is to the last day for meditation this week, and I'm going to reflect and talk about some of the things that meant the most to me and what I got out of this week and the past few weeks. So, within the Identity Project and the Zine Project and the mindfulness this week, I felt like these three things all go together. The Identity Project helped to define who I am, like who I am and what I'm made of. The Zine Project went a little deeper and helped define who I was and what I'm made of and what's inside the drawer. Like, have you ever um, went to, or have you ever expected a guest over to your house and you did surface level cleaning? That's what I call it. So you have this surface level cleaning where you clean everything off the top, or you get everything off of the counters and you put them in the drawers. Okay, so the zine project was what you put inside the drawer. The mindfulness, um, and also with the zine project, what you put inside the drawer is what you don't want people to see initially. You just want them to see your identity, and that's like face value stuff. So the mindfulness is like once you've gotten or become engaged in a critical reflection of yourself, you are able to be mindful um, of another person's identity too. So you you know then when you think about being mindful and having compassion and engaging with people that are not as not like-minded as you, then you realize that those people too are made those people and their identities are made up of many attributes, and that compassion is required in order for you to see another past their surface level, even if it's not shown, like even if you don't see it, and even if it's not shared, you have the understanding that it's they're deeper than what you see. You also know in your heart of hearts that other factors in life make up this person's identity and not just their race or political stance. Like, I can't just look at a person now and say, they're a Democrat, they're a Republican. I can't talk with them because they don't believe what I believe. When really will never affect change with those types of behaviors, and only engaging with like minded people. Like, that's boring anyway. I don't want to talk to people that think like me all the time. And I don't want to have dialogue and critical conversations with people who are always going to agree with me. I might be in the wrong circle if all of the people in my circle are saying, "Yeah, that's right. Do that, Candy. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, do that." If I had to do the identity project over, I think I'd start from the inside and work my way outward. Like, what's inside the drawer, the things that we don't share initially with people. So I definitely think that if I had to do, but I respect the process in the way that it was done. And I'm assuming it was intentional because it built the layers on. Um, like I said, because the Identity Project was like who I am, this is what you see. The Zine Project was like who I am and what I'm made of. And then the mindfulness was kind of like who I am, what I'm made of, and then my reflection then turns into, oh, wait, other people are made up of different things and different layers. too. And once I begin to peel back those layers, then I can see the whole person. So those pieces of my identity do represent who I am, like my face value, like the identity project, going back to that. Um, so those pieces of my identity they do represent me, but it doesn't tell the story accurately. I want to focus more on what attributes I possess or don't, um, as by Dustava, because that paints a better picture. You know, like, have you ever played the game Hello, Mr. Judge, where the kids have to put their heads down and someone taps and says, "Hello, Mr. Judge." And then the kids all pop their heads up and have to guess who said it based on voice or footsteps or um, body sense or anything like that. Or like the dating game. You have this partition, um, partition. You have this partition that separates you from the person on the other side, but you learn all of these things about the person, like the things that are in the drawer. Like, you learn all of these things about the person, and you get to build your own image of them based on what the facilitator of the game is telling you or sharing with you. So I think that others can't see your face, but they have inside information, like the skeleton. Like, that's what I like. Mindfulness can build critical consciousness because it allows you to first start with the man in the mirror, the identity in the zine. Like, have you listened to that song lately? The words, like, when you listen to it, you have to think Michael was clearly, yeah, and I know him on a first name basis, like he's like Michael. But Michael Jackson was definitely deep in his own conocimiento when he wrote those lyrics. And as he wrote those lyrics, it sounded like he was doing a reflection of his life critically. Critical consciousness comes after you start with a serious, deep cleaning of yourself. And that's what I've had the opportunity to do this week. Reflecting on who I am, where I come from, and what I represent. Those things will help build and generate curriculum for students, even past student centered pedagogy and culturally relevant pedagogy. Like, this is even deeper than that, I feel. I don't really know how. I do know how, but I don't know how to explain it into words yet. But I know that we can't just say, oh, we need to enforce critical or culturally relevant